Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Live in Conversation. I am your host, René Antoine, as always, with our attorney, Daphnée Camilien. Daphnée, how are you?
I'm doing well this evening.
Amazing. Daphnée is from Camilien Law. I have my sister, Christine René. How are you doing this evening, Christine?
I'm doing excellent, and thank you again for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here with us. And the lovely Fadia, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Live in Conversation. We are here every Wednesday. Um, how about I think one of us is sharing, right? Maybe that's why I'm getting the feedback.
Yeah, I'm not sharing, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, are you sharing, Christine?
I was on your page, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right then. Maybe it's my page. I'm sorry, you all. Thank you for being live in conversation with us. We are here every Wednesdays, and our goal is to share resources, tools, knowledge. Well, obviously, with everything that's going on with the election, last week we did a part one, and so we thought that would be good to do a part two. So let me just make sure that it's not me.
Let me put me on mute. Mute.
I don't hear it anymore. Maybe it was me. So y'all. So that being said, I'm just gonna have you guys just greet the audience. People are joining in. We appreciate you. I see you. I don't see you by name unless you leave a comment. Definitely, I'm gonna be able to see you by name. So go ahead and share it with any question that you wanna discuss. We are live in conversation, so it is a conversation. So join in with us. How was your week, Daphnée? We can. Oh, everybody can unmute. I think it was me.
Oh, sorry, that's true. It was good. A lot has happened since last Wednesday. It has been an eventful week. So, um, the feedback I actually think is
Take it to you.
Christine.
Is it you, Christine?
So, yeah, I think it's her. So maybe she's like, oh no, maybe you close if you close other applications you have going on your computer, that might be what it is. So sorry we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. But yeah, so it's been since last week, it has been a whirlwind. So it'll be interesting to see next week what it's gonna bring. But yeah, it's been a good week.
Amazing. How's your week, Christine, so far? I mean, it's hump day.
So far, I had an excellent, awesome weekend with my kids and my niece and nephews, and I feel at peace because we have a new president, and
You
I'm not,
know peace.
I'm not worried like I was before.
Well,
I
we're
feel,
glad you're not worried.
I feel at ease. But yes, I had a nice 5 days weekend with the kids. It was very nice.
Well, I must say thank you for having my kids, so that gave me a break. So I appreciate you. And the lovely Fadia, how are you? How was your week? Anything new happen?
Well, we have a new president and we have a black vice president. So let's
Ooh.
be that. No, like Christine, the same way, right? I don't think it's so much relief. It's more so like hope and can breathe a little bit easier.
I agree. So since everybody jumped in the election anyway, so why not get into it? So, so first question for you all. Where were you when the election result came out? Do you remember where you were when you first realized that President-elect Biden is gonna be our new president?
Well, I think I'm gonna start. I was actually getting ready, out of the shower, getting ready, and we have a family text going. And my cousin actually in Florida is the one that sent us and say that we have a new president elected. And I was like, what? And after that, like I literally went to CNN and look because I was like, maybe it's a joke. And nobody, I didn't receive no text from news and everything. So I went on CNN and I saw it, and I was just like I said, breathe. Like I have a new hope for democracy in America. So that's how I felt.
Awesome. Okay, who wanna go next? Maybe Daphnée?
Oh no, Chris.
I'll go next. So
Okay, it's fine. You guys didn't say anything.
I was at work at my desk, and I believe I was typing something, and my coworker, and she's for Trump, and she said, "Christine, you run, you got a new president." I'm like, "What?" And I start screaming at the bank, "Yeah!" And I start screaming like, "Yeah, we have a new president!" And then I took a walk, going around the Winnetka, and then all I heard was cars, people screaming on the street. I'm like, Winnetka?
What are you trying to say now? What are you trying to say?
Okay, Winnetka. So I was like, yeah. Yes. That was
You already have some love, Fadia. Amanda is showing you some love. She said, "Hey, Fadia."
Yeah. And then, so I was at work.
Oh, Fadia already went. I'm sorry. No, okay, now it's Daphne's turn.
Yeah, I was in the house, and my husband's watching the news, and so he said, come, and started cheering, yay, yay. I was like, okay, I knew something happened, and he was watching the news, and then I can't remember if it was one of those news stations were one of the first ones to project that he was the winner. So that was really exciting. And so we were really excited in the house. And then I started texting everybody immediately, but it was exciting. It was a relief.
Yeah.
So I guess I was in my kitchen on my laptop. And then, well, how did I end up seeing it? I think I was just on my laptop and then I saw it. And then I just went to my husband and tell him, and he was already on the phone with somebody, and they were talking about it. So I don't know if the way technology is, you can be in your own house, and I mean, literally that happened to me. Something happened in my house, and somebody called me about it. Or just like you say, you went home in Florida, I called you. So this just says like how advanced technology is helping us to stay connected. Anyway, this is my little side note. So let's go to our next question. And I said we had one comment by Amanda. She says, "Hey, Fadia, you can. I don't know if you can reply, Fadia, but I think on the comments we can do that. So if you wanted to go ahead and reply and say, hey." And so the comments cannot just stay in. I just put them and then that's it. We cannot keep them rolling. So with that being said, next question. Okay, so I know a lot of you all opinions already, but maybe our new audience who's watching right now. So we are live in conversation with attorney Daphnée Camilien, my sister Christine René, and the lovely Fadia Joseph, all the way from Texas, who's joining us. So we appreciate it. So we are talking about the election result. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for immigrants? And what does it mean for people of color in general? So what are your thoughts on the results? If I let Christine go, she's gonna keep going.
Oh, Christine wanted to say something?
No, I say you might as well go because Christine is gonna go from here to tomorrow.
Okay. No, I'm extremely excited about the results. I think as many people are, many people are not. I should say that too. Many people are not, but there are a whole lot of people that are. So I'm excited for change. I want some. I feel like for 4 years, everybody has, a lot of people. I can't say everybody, but a lot of people have had a lot of anxiety from day to day about what's going to happen. So the country has been tense. So I'm just hoping that this will be some relief, even though the president. It doesn't matter. He's saying he's not going to concede, but we don't need him to concede to move on. So, but at this point, like I said, I'm just at as of today, things are calm, and I'm hoping that this is a sign of the future of how it'll be. Because we have, as a country, a lot going on. COVID is going up, which is scary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the same thing that you, Daphnée, is for me, the numbers are a little bit, I won't excited, but like different, just because I would have not thought that with everything's going on, with COVID happening, with the economy not going well, I would have not thought that he would have so much support, meaning the person that's at the White House right now. So, and just to think, if when you look at the number, you see like 55% of the white women voted for him, which is the number is up from the last election in 2016. So then it's like almost like a disconnection. Like you could see the division of the country.
Mhm.
So now with Biden, elected, I'm hoping that that division is going to be less, and people could just all work together and not be divided as much that the person at the White House did it for the past 4 years.
Well, I guess it's my turn. So me, it's like it's peace of mind. Like Christine. Oh, Christine didn't even go yet. No, go ahead, Christine. I'm not gonna stop. I am not gonna stop the trend. Hello, Vladimir. How's it going? Vladimir says, "Sac passe." We appreciate
Hello,
you joining
Vladimir.
and being with us. Yeah. So, what is your thought
Okay,
about the election result?
so with the result, I feel hope is near, and hoping there will be change, because that's all we can do. It's hope. Hope there will be change, especially in the black communities when it comes to black male, black women. And I was so happy when he got elected. I was excited. However, there's something about me that kind of there's a balance, because I'm not sure yet what he's gonna do for our community. I know there would be peace, as Fabian said, don't say feast, but it's not. There will be some kind of comfort for the black community, but I hope he can help us with Black Lives Matter, all those um, all those situations that are happening, and how we can get better going forward with COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with uh oh okay
No, no, don't keep going. Keep going.
with Black Lives Matter. But all I can say, let's pray for him and hope for the best, because he's also human.
Of course.
Okay, so yeah, definitely I agree with all of you. It is hopeful, but at the same time, the work is not ended right there. We have to continue. When the next Senate election is going to happen in 2 years from now, we have to go out and vote. You
Actually,
know,
let's wait. Georgia has a Senate election, two Senate seat coming up. They have to vote in January 5th, and early election is starting, I think, either this week or next week. So if we have people from Georgia, keep going. They have to go and and vote.
exactly, exactly. Because at the end of the day, the president is almost powerless without the Senate. And then so there's so much that he can do. So therefore, there may be goodwill, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't have a Senate that's backing him and who's blocking everything he's trying to do, he's just sitting there. Okay, and with that being said, I'm glad you mentioned Georgia, Fadia, because I read an article where they said Georgia is gonna be counting all the ballots by hand. Any one of you saw that?
Yes.
I just saw that. Yep.
Yeah. Which I don't see what
You
it
saw that?
for me. It
So
doesn't make any sense because it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the outcome. Like if even saying if the president right now his gain if win Georgia, nothing going to change. It's not going to be. He's not going to stay in power because I mean Pennsylvania called it, Michigan called it, Nevada called it, so he got the Arizona called it. So what's gonna happen? I just think it's a waste of time, and it's almost like I think like it's almost like he's trying to have her mind to concentrate on something else. There's something like he's working on something that he doesn't want us to know, so he put this concentrate on Georgia.
and plus it's costly as well. It's not a free thing.
Mm-hmm.
My
Go
thoughts
ahead on that.
my thoughts were so what I saw was a news article. I don't remember what station it was, but it was a news story, excuse me, that maybe not too long ago today that came out that said that the Trump administration, the current administration, reached out to the Secretary of State of Georgia and asked them to do a hand count by, and to count by mail every single ballot versus what Georgia was intent was to take a sample of ballots and hand count that sample. But they're asking them to hand count all of it, which is almost 5 million. And they're supposed to 5 million ballots, almost 5 million ballots, and they're supposed to turn in their final election results by November 20th. And people are saying that they're probably not going to have that done by then. And what's the next alternative? And the Secretary of State was possibly saying, changing the dates of some of these when these mail-in for the new Senate runoff, changing the date of the election or changing the date of when they can send in their ballots. There's a lot of things in play. I do think that this is strategic by the Trump administration by asking. So the thing is, Georgia can.
Actually, let me cut you off for 1 second. I read someone else. What they're gonna do is like they're gonna separate like by candidate, and they're gonna have the machine count the ballot. So basically, they're not gonna physically say 1, 2, 3. They're just gonna put the ballot separate, like Biden, the other guy, and after that, put it in the machine. The machine just gonna count it like the same way when you use like a cash machine and they count your bills the same way. So and they said like if the number was saying like lower for like saying it was lower for Biden, then Biden could ask to have a recount, and then what they would do is like you said, they would count it by hand and have the machine again recount it, but count it with the name or like whatever the dark mark that they decide if it is Trump or if it is Biden.
Okay. I'll look as we're talking to see, because I know this is a moving target, and I know like there are a lot of changes that are happening hour by hour.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I do think by them asking the Georgia administration to go ahead and do their own recount. And then they also still have, once they do that, the current administration has the right to ask for, any side has the right to ask for another recount. All of these are delaying tactics. They also are, if there's a large discrepancy between the two, for whatever reason, this maybe help them if for any type of further lawsuits. They are doing their best to get it in the courts, right? And they want it to go to the Supreme Court. They want it in federal court, and there's a reason why. You know, the courts are stacked because this current administration has been, slowly but surely has been stacking the courts with their people. So they are doing everything possible to get this in court. So like I said, regardless, this might be a good way for them to get in court, because if they say if the numbers are skewed, maybe it's more evidence for them in court, and maybe they can say a bunch of states were bad. Look at what happened in Georgia. Maybe this needs to be tossed, etc. So it's just something. That's just my take on it.
So you said if it is, the number in Georgia will have to be like what, at least like what, more than 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 difference? Because I mean,
usually, so what I read somewhere before, that statistically when they do a recount, that it's when they do a recount, they usually find, like, it's not that big of a difference they find, right? Like, because there's human error. So there is some I expect the numbers to be off by a little bit, right? Maybe a couple hundred, I don't know, but nothing like, or maybe 100, I don't know what the statistics are for the error, but what I'm saying is that what I think is that they want them to do the recount, so it's a significant difference. And then when they ask for, so let's say they said that there's 4.5 million votes, and 2 million went to Trump, 2.5 million went to Biden. They do a recount. It's 2.3 million went to Biden, 2.2 went. That's a big difference. Trump, and then Trump says, "I want to recount," and then his numbers are way off, right? Then they're like, "What is going?" It's going to cause a lot of problems, because they're going to be like, why is there such a big discrepancy?" And then they're going to start saying voter fraud, etc. So those are just, I think they're just trying to stack it up. They're doing everything possible to get it in court. They haven't been able to get it in court because there hasn't been a good enough proof and like a reason. You got to have a reason. You can't just say, "Oh, this is what's going on." You have to have the proof behind it.
So what do we think that if they're going to court, what do we think that's going to do for future election? Because I mean, there was a lot of people that went and vote this year's, and that's the biggest they have seen for a long time. Okay. So if they're going to court and they bat it out for who know how long it's going to take, what do we think? Like, people, I mean, do we think that people is going to be like, well, what's the point of voting? Like, how you think election? What's going to be the future of electing to voting in the United States?
I think that's something that. Sorry. Go ahead, talk.
No. I think that goes off to our next question. So to everyone who's joining us, I see a few of you guys jumping in. This is Live in Conversation. I am René Antoine with Daphnée, Camilien, Christine, René, and Fadia Joseph. We're just talking about what the election result meant for us, for our community, for people of color, and just discussing. Obviously, there's a lot going on still with President Trump not conceding. But then that goes to our next question. Do you think the election results can be overturned? And I think that's what Fadia was going to lean in right now. And Christine, did you want to add anything? I see you on mute. Can you hear us? I don't know.
Yes, I can hear you. No, I'm listening also to Daphnée and Fadia. So I'm.
You're muted. Okay, so about the election being overturned, what is your thought on that?
So I'm there's a lot of stuff, right? If the general consensus is that Biden won, right? He has the electoral votes to win. He also had the popular vote by a large amount. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 million at this point. It's at least 4 million.
Over 5 million.
Okay, so if that can get overturned on some type of technicality or whatever, so there's a part of like I don't think that they'll let that happen because of the consequences, right? The thing that distinguishes the U.S. from a lot of countries is that we've been able to, hand over power, and there's no president for life here. There's no dictatorship. Um, it's usually been a smooth transition. People win, they lose, they go about their business, right? And most countries, a lot of countries in the world, that is not the case, right? But that's what's allowed us to have businesses and things to continue. So to do that upheaval, I think would kind of mess with people's confidence in the system and how it's run. It could make the U.S. look vulnerable to the world, so it could also make us vulnerable and prone for attack or whatever, because we're not viewed as stable, because that's going on. And then also people, there's a lot of people who are for Trump, that's true, but there's a lot of people who are for Biden as well. And I do believe that I think people would take to the streets. I really would. Across the United States, I think people would really, really, really be upset. In like I said, I think we would have it wouldn't be stable for a while, because people would be upset because they want to believe that their votes count. And if someone can just, say it doesn't count, and they don't believe it's not on a fair basis is the reason why they're arguing it doesn't count, I could see there being a lot of problems.
Anyone else want to add to that? Oh, okay. We had some technical difficulty. Okay. You are back. I didn't see that.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
I think I was gonna add something to what Daphnée said, but
I think she was talking about how people need to have faith in the democracy. So if Biden wins, there shouldn't be any, I guess, okay, false information to go change that. Like a few votes here and there shouldn't change that, and people will really be upset about that if that were to happen.
I said people would take the streets.
Yeah. I always try to be PC.
Right.
I said people were gonna take the street.
I really do believe there would be mass protests across the United States, because I think people would feel like that what's going on here. It'd be I don't think people believe that it's a technicality and stuff like that. I just think that they would be mass protests. It wouldn't last forever, but it would be, like this last election, people boarded up they boarded up what's that called? The businesses in a lot of cities.
Yes.
We're in Illinois, including Chicagoland area. It was boarded up just because of the results. So they anticipated there might be some issues. National Guard was on standby. So can you imagine? People already celebrated. People are making plans. We're all excited about the first.
People brought down the flags.
So now you're telling me, oh no, on this technicality, but it doesn't work like that anyway. It's not like the results will be overturned like that anyway. There's a lot of stuff that would go into play, and if the electoral votes, if there's not a majority, what I read is that the House of Representatives is who would decide who the president is, right? In the House. Now, I don't know if it's like majority, if it's 60%. I don't know how that works. But if it's anything like that, the House of Representatives has more Democrats than Republicans. So the result might end up, still the same. But what happens between then and then could be all type of upheaval that I just don't think that they want.
I mean, I don't think that the result is gonna switch. Biden is not gonna be elected. However, I do think that if we're going through all this shenanigans, about going to, to court and everything, I do think that people are not gonna want to vote again, because then they're gonna be like, my vote doesn't matter. It's like, what's the point of me voting if I'm voting and then there's quote unquote fraud, or there's so many mistakes. So I think, who knows what's going to happen in 2024 and who's going to be running for 2024. But I think, like, maybe we're not going to see as high number that we saw this time.
I mean, that was a really high number.
Yeah. So I agree with Camilien and Fadia.
Fadia.
I don't know
Fadia.
Fadia, sorry.
I got her name right.
I don't know.
I'm messing with you, girl. You're my sister.
So, when it comes to losing, most people, I'm one of them. I don't like to lose. So I want to win, okay? But we are living in a country which there's democracy. So Biden, regardless what Georgia number is or will be, he's still going to be the president. And like Daphnée said, Daphnée Camilien, okay.
I'm Daphnée too. That's why she's saying that.
Hey, Daphnée, downtown, downtown. If you go downtown, it's all boarded up. There's a lot of like protection for businesses. And my coworker, she lives downtown. She was showing me all those like Macy's. Like she said, there's no downtown. It looks like another street to her because she doesn't recognize it. Now imagine we got Biden, nothing happened, right? And then we got all this vote saying, "Oh, so Biden is not president anymore." All we're going to have to board up the whole country because the whole country will be on fire. Okay, so pretty much, I don't think Georgia's recounting vote will make any difference to Biden being president or not being president. And also with Camilla, right? Camilla being vice president.
Camila. Yeah, you said it right. You said it right. Camila.
Camilla or Camilla?
Camila.
Yeah, so Camilla's being vice president as a black woman. A lot of black women, they're looking up to her. Okay, there. If you go on Facebook or any pages, you'll see little girls looking up to her. They see a future. They see that there's a possibility I can be a vice president. And now us having that
A
hope,
president.
yes, that's it. Us having that hope, saying maybe one day we can be a vice president. We're all happy, putting it in our little kids, little girls looking at it, being proud of Camilla. And now you're gonna tell me, oh, sorry, she's not vice president anymore. How are you gonna explain that to your kids? How are you gonna explain that to those women who are looking up to her? No, it's not all about the country's in fire, but you gotta think about the black woman who's looking up to Camilla as a change for black women and us breaking the glass ceiling. So
I mean, I think it's not just black women. I think it is everybody. I think it's like little kids. It's the first woman in vice presidency. That's never happened. So yeah,
It's a great day to be a woman.
it sure
And I
is.
believe she's thinking as well. Okay. So, hello everyone who are joining us. We appreciate it. I see the love, I see the comments. We are live in conversation with attorney Daphnée Camilien, my sister Christine René, and Fadia Joseph. We are talking about the election result, what it means for us, immigrants, just people of color in general. And so join the conversation, leave your comments, ask any question. This is a conversation, so we want to hear from you all. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our next question. We're having some little technical difficulty, but we'll go through it. We'll get through it. Okay. So our next question has to do with what is next for the country. I know we talk about it a little bit, but then what is your hope? What is your hope for the country, given that there's a smooth transition of power and President-elect Biden is now governing? What's next? What is your hope?
Well, Georgia needs to vote so we could have all Democrat Senate. That's why that's why
Yes, you did mention it.
and right. But we need to remind people in Georgia that they need to go and vote and vote for the two Democrats so we could have an all Democratic Senate. But
Like a majority.
yeah, a majority. Yes, you're right. Sorry, a majority. Yes, sorry. But I do think that not because Biden and Kamala has been elected that the work is done. We still have to vote in every elections possible. That is local. That is even your school
What's your
district.
school council?
Everything. Because the thing is we have to let a voice heard, and the only way we could have a voice heard is by voting. I mean, yes, we could manifest. Yes, we could protest. But really how the thing changing is to have people in power that could change the law and do the changes. So I don't know when Illinois next election is going to be, but the same amount of people that went and voted for this presidential election need to go out. If your kids go to school, vote in the school board, everything, because that's how change is going to happen. If we don't do that, we could complain, we could ask, we could have demand, but nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned Fadia that to vote in all those elections, school board, and one of my coworker, she recommends that before you vote for anyone, make sure you research about
Of
them.
course, yeah.
No, I know a lot of people. They're like, oh, democracy, democracy, Biden, 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 or Trump, Trump, Trump. But did you do any research about it? Did you do any research about the senators, like judges? And I recommend whoever's watching to make sure you do your research and see if those subjects that senators, president, are they aligned with yours, or are they aligned with your community? Or how it will help you. Why they deserve my vote. So not because your friend likes someone and later you go vote for that person and just go out and vote for them. But make sure you know exactly who you are voting for and what change that person will bring or is going to bring to the table, or to the world, or to the community that you are in.
But it's also asking question, right? It's not just do your research. It's also asking question, is asking question to your network, asking question to the people that that might be in that field, or just even to send an email to the person that want to be elected, and just ask them the question and see if they're going to answer. Because we could do research, and of course we know research is you have people opinions. Everything might not all be true, or you might not understand what they're talking about, right? So asking questions also, like you said, you do your research, but also ask questions so what whoever you're going to vote for, like you said, align with what you believe and what you want for your future, your community, for yourself, so you make a right decision.
I would I would agree with both you guys were saying. I think that um, President elect Biden and Vice President elect Kamala Harris are, although obviously my stance on in my political affiliation, but that's not the end all be all, right? So it's just like both these ladies were saying, it's getting involved, it's thinking about what issues are important to you, getting involved in those issues that are important to you, and it's going to be so hard for President Biden. We have to think about what he's walking into.
Hmm.
COVID is at an all-time high. We have unemployment. We have all these small businesses that are closed forever. We are going to have people received a stimulus check. There are a lot of people who are suffering. A lot of industries that are suffering. He's going to have to address uh, some very important things. Because of my background, I've been focusing, and I'm a part of a couple of groups, and we focus on immigration. And so people were talking about some of the things that he's going to have to do. There's, President Trump has put by executive order, so it didn't even go through Congress. He did a lot of changes to immigration and the way immigration is run, and put all these rules in. And there's so just in that area. We're not even talking about all the other stuff, COVID, all the other issues that we're not even talking about, in climate, all the stuff that, Black Lives Matter. So all that stuff, just in a little tiny thing of immigration, which is tiny, but I say tiny, but really it's big. He's done so much. So to expect Biden to undo all of that, plus take care of COVID, plus take care of these small businesses, plus get people back to working, plus deal with Black Lives Matter. There's so many, plus deal with climate change. There's so much. So, yes, he's in power, and the importance of the Senate is it is saying is that we want him to, the work that he's going to be doing, we want him to be able to do it. And so that's why we need the Senate. We're asking that people to vote for, Georgia, and vote, who can vote in Georgia to vote, so that if the Senate is, majority Democrats, then when he wants to pass something, it won't be blocked by the Republicans. We'll be able to pass it and make these changes. But those are just some of the things that he has a lot going on. So we all have to do our part, every single person. If it's important to you, don't complain 4 years from now. I'm telling the public, don't complain 4 years from now. What did you do? How did you get involved
Exactly.
locally? Or to even support that, but whatever issue is important to you, what did you do?
Yeah.
That's so on point. That is so on point. And I know before I think before the voting happened, Daphne, you and I, we had a conversation. I'm not even sure if he was live or if he was just between the two of us. We talk about, how I think it was like, how do we find about the judges? And then so obviously, this is not my thing, this is not my field. But then what I was able to do based on your recommendation was let me share my screen. Boom, 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 boom. And then there's so many people too that we don't know them. We never heard of them. Obviously, that's not something that we are
Google. That's what we have.
familiar
Google.
with. Yeah, so she's like Google.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
did.
what I
I
did.
Google.
No, plus Daphne guided me. So this is Injustice Watch, and it's basically create that I guess that guide. That's what they call it. It's not telling you who to vote for, who to not vote for. It just gives you all the facts, right? And I'm sure regardless of the election, you're gonna find places that's not biased, who's not for, who's not against, but is really there to give you all the facts. And then I print that with me. I took it. I review it, but then I printed it with me, and I took it with me because who's gonna remember all of this?
Right.
Okay, so
Yes. Right.
there is resources out there that can help you make a informed decision when it's come to voting for different type of posts. So with that being said, it's important that we educate ourselves, and it is important that we participate in all election, like Fadia said.
But
If there's an election and you can vote, go and vote.
so this
I'm
one
gonna
is just
stop
for
my
Illinois,
stream.
right? It's just the judges for Illinois, though. That's why you showed.
That's Cook County. Yes, yes. And as a matter of fact, that was just Cook County. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you know where you live at. Maybe the international, I'm not sure, but then I'm sure there's other resources, there's other organizations that provide the same service. Okay. And again, everyone who's watching, I appreciate you all. I see you, I see the likes, I see the love. Join the conversation, live in conversation with Antoine, Daphnée, Camilien, Fadia, Joseph, and Christine, Renee. If you have any comments or questions, type it so you can join the conversation. So with that being said, next question. Now, do you all think that the new presidency how will it affect you all personally?
How the
Like, do
president?
you think it's gonna have an effect on your life personally?
That's a good question. um, Go ahead, Christine. You seem like you have an answer.
I mean, I don't think it will have an effect on me personally because Biden, he was a vice president for 8 years, and I don't think he had any effect on me because I believe that you you need. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I believe in God. He is my God. He's my King, and uh, he's the one who's in charge of everything. So I don't think he being president will have an effect on me personally. But when it comes to my family, I feel more at peace because I have two black men in my household. Okay, I have a husband and I have my son. So I don't have that anxiety that I had when Trump in power, or let's say, God forbid, Georgia.
Like we talked about that.
say
Like I don't think that. Let me count while you guys are saying that. I don't think even if Georgia was to
yeah,
say something else, I don't think it matters.
yeah. So personally, no, but my family, I worry about my family more than I worry about myself. But no, I don't think he would have any effect because I feel like when he was vice president for 8 years, it didn't have any effect on me personally.
Fair enough.
Daphne,
Like
do you
the
want to go?
cousins.
It will it will have a definitely have a direct impact on the work that I do. I work with a lot of immigrants. They were scared to death. I work with DACA, TPS. These people were frightened. The laws keep changing. There's multiple lawsuits, so that's going to be figured out within the next year. So that'll have a big effect. Immigration backlog is huge. Um, any type of changes he makes to the system will have a direct impact on the work that I do. So the daily stresses, we don't understand. I'll speak for myself. I didn't understand the stress that I was under, or I should say the anxiety I was under this administration, until I felt such relief, right? And then when I talk to people, and some people are just like, I've had like two different people, completely two different sets of friends, that are just like, I'm not going to believe it until he's sworn in. And it's that it's like the abuser, right? I'm not going to believe the abuser is gone until I see them in handcuffs, right? Like it's because you've been abused for 4 years. So you don't believe that the abuser's gone. You have to have more proof that he's gone, because you're still afraid that something can happen. And that's the anxiety that just I've been feeling. I see other people have been feeling it, and I didn't realize that because I was going about my life. But every time you see a news story and you hear like some of these horrible stories about kids in cages and just really bad stuff happening to people, and you're like, how can this happen? It makes you feel bad because you can't, or I should say, it makes me feel bad because I can't do anything about it. So that's not to say nothing bad will not happen under Biden's administration, because I know stuff is gonna happen. I'm not saying Biden's a savior. That's why I said we have to do our own part, because I just want a little bit of, when I say peace, just like, I don't need to hear nonsensical stories every single day. I don't need to have a president that's cursing out a citizen or saying stuff, horrible things. I just want, like, the way it was before, that we act in the diplomatic manner, and respect people back and forth. Just the basics is what I'm requiring, and I will do my part as well. As far as like, if getting involved in government or getting involved with helping other people, so that I do my part, to get the type of society I want. But I don't expect Biden to be anybody's savior. But I definitely think it'll have an impact. Taxes also, right? Like, they changed the tax laws, so people were like, great. Personally, for some people, like, great, you're getting more money in your check. But then what if they took too much and now you owe? Which I know that happens to so many people. So there's those little things that are happening day to day. So yeah, so those are just some of the things I think will affect um, me and my day to day with this new administration coming to be.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit the same way than you, Daphne. I don't think, like you said, I don't think Biden is the savior. I definitely don't think so. But you know, the anxiety of being for the past 4 years, when election came, I was just like, God, please, we need to be him to be out of it. Just like you said, just to have so many rhetoric and so many like negativity, having somebody that support black and brown people, or even like school or anything. That was um that was frustrating. But like you, I think for me, what is going to change is just be more involved as well. Like being more involved, be more aware of what's going on. Like, like I said, I'm in Texas, so it's a little bit different than Illinois, but definitely be more, aware, and not like just and ask questions, like, figure it out, like understand like where I live, what's going on, and not just sit and not say nothing and not do nothing. Because then if I don't say nothing, I don't do nothing, then I'm not going to be able to complain about anything.
So my turn.
Yep.
So with me, I'm always gonna tell you all about financial literacy, because at the end of the day, money is power. A lot of the people who are in charge right now, I mean, obviously we have President Trump who's president. That has a lot to do with his power and influence, with his money and influence. Okay, and then so with that being said, at the end of the day, we have to empower ourselves with the knowledge and tools and resources to be able to participate fully, in the government. Okay. So no, it's not gonna have an effect on me. I don't think that at all. I know a lot of millionaires may be upset right now because they're not gonna get the little tax break, but I'm not a millionaire. And even if I was a millionaire right now, uh I would not trade the tax break for the disrespect, for all the nonsense that's been going on for the 4 years. I'd rather pay the taxes. So with that being said, I'm sorry, y'all. It's 9 o'clock. It was a great conversation. We cannot end this conversation without saying thank you to all the servicemen and women who are serving in our armed forces. I mean, we can literally say that they are the backbone of our democracy. And so thank you to all the servicemen, thank you to all the servicewomen serving in the Navy,
Army,
the
military.
Army, the Air Force, the Marines. I love the Marines. I love everybody. So no, everybody. Thank you all, and the reserve as well. So anybody wanna add on to that? And I think we have one last question, and we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this may be opening a can of worms or not, but I hope not. So this is kind of about like, I've already kind of stated what my political views are, but I was reading a podcast. I was listening to a podcast, and the people on the podcast were really excited about the fact that there's a woman vice president, and that she's of Asian and Black descent. And so someone commented and stated that the podcast people were African American. They were saying, as African American Christians, um, that African American Christians, even though it's a hard decision, they should really be voting Republican. Even because of even if you view some of the comments that Trump has been saying about racial injustice, it is a difficult decision, but that should not, Republicans align with biblical principles more so than Democrats, and so that they should, and I think they were more about it being pro life, and how that was so important, and how that, and so I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, and why, because I do believe you know what it was at first. Like I said, because of my thoughts, I was like, what? And then I was thinking to myself, though, it is interesting, because I wanted to know why people chose to, with so many things you keep hearing in the media, if you're not, a millionaire, billionaire, you're just living day to day, you might be on Medicaid, you might even be getting government assistance, whatever. And this is for anybody, Black, white, Latino, whatever. Because everybody, Asian, everybody voted for Trump. He got 70 million votes. So he got a lot of votes. So I just wanted to, I was just very curious why so many people voted for. I know they're diehard fans, but there are people who are not. But they still feel like
Yes.
he talks with interest. And they're not millionaires. They're not business owners. They're barely making it. So I just wanted to know why. So this kind of shed some light on it. So what do you guys think?
So I have one of my coworker, and she loves Donald Trump. Okay, she's crazy about him because she is tired of dealing with a politician, someone who say they're going to do this. They want you to they want you to just say what you want to hear. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's why she likes Donald Trump, because she said Donald Trump will do what he said he will do, and also he's not a politician who say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, and then at the end of the day they just want your vote. So, and then also she said, and she didn't vote for him, but she's crazy about him. And then she, and I told her, well, what about Biden? You think Biden is going to give us a stimulus check for 1,200? She said, well, I don't think he's gonna do that. He he will not do that. But with Trump, he wants to help the people. He's a true president. He, as I'm saying, he has no filter. It's not like he wants you to hear uh things that you want to hear. He wants to tell, like my sister. My sister will tell me anything, But that Camellia, if you have to say something to me, you would have to kind of say it in a way where I wouldn't get mad. With my sister, it's like, Christine, this is not wrong with you. This is not right with you. So basically, that's what people don't want. They want someone who can tell them exactly what's wrong with them without hiding something behind.
That's bullshit.
So the question is, fix it. Don't tell me it's wrong. Fix it.
That's
what you said.
I understand what you said, but like their reasoning is BS. It's literally BS. You know why? Because how are you gonna say that he's saying, he's saying what you want to hear? All the things that he said that he's gonna do, he has not done. He has not, what that he have done that have benefit, we're gonna say black people and brown people, what he have done that's gonna benefit the people that's low income or government on government. No. But to address what the Christian question, to me again, I don't understand how you could put the Bible with what the Republican are stating, because I mean it's like we evolving, right? So people are changing, things are different. I can understand, you maybe believe in pro-life, then you think it's acceptable for police officer to kill a kid, a 9-year-old kid, because he have a gun toy, but you don't like a teenager that's 17 that killed two people and injure one person, you let him walk? No, how you gonna say that? And the fact that to me, with Republican is like they don't stand on anything. And right now, the Republicans that are elected did not stand on anything. I'm not saying all Republicans are the same. I'm not saying they all think about the same thing, but they have not stand on anything. They have not been able to stand into their leader and say like, what you're doing is wrong. They have not able to stand and say like, what, this is wrong. This, in my community of my voters are also affected. We're not doing anything. So to put the Bible into that, to me is like, I don't understand it, and maybe like I need to learn more about it. But I don't think like it is fair or like to say like because what the Bible's saying and the Republicans supposedly the rhetoric, if you want to, is similar to what the Bible is stating. It is make no sense. It's literally, for me, is all pure greed. It's all about like me, myself, and what is better for me without looking at anything else is happening. You cannot say like, slavery was okay. And yes, people are saying like slavery was 400 years ago, but we're still suffering in 2 days. We're still having impact on it. You cannot say that, having people beat and having kids in cages, that's acceptable. That is not acceptable. There's things that's happening that you cannot be like, oh, because the Bible said that it is okay, and because they believe in in the Bible, that we should vote for them. No, you have to be looking at what's going on and be like, is that something that acceptable for me? Is that something that I could live? If my cousin or my somebody in my family marry a Mexican person and that their family or were in the cages, how will I feel? Will I be like, okay, too bad, that's for you? Or will you be mad and be like, what's going on? So it's not putting the Bible and again,
Let me add my 2 cents.
the Bible. That's no. I don't see the Bible said like it's okay for you to put kids in cages. I don't see that one. I really don't.
I agree. I mean, I'm a Christian, okay, and then so that being said, like I think there's a hypocrisy on both sides, okay, and then just people have been tired. People are tired of both sides, honestly. But then it's like choose your lesser devil, okay. So that's basically what's going on right now. So maybe people who have voted for Democrats, years and years and years and years, are seeing a lot of injustices as well. Under the Democrat, there were injustices. If you look at the prison system, you know what I'm saying, and so that happened under both presidency. And so if you look at different neighborhoods, so people are just saying, well, when you were president, you didn't do anything for me. Not when I mean, like when the Democrats were in presidency, they didn't do anything for me. So let me try the Republican, and then I think a lot of people were just trying it. I'm sure you see Michigan flip. Who else flip? I think was it Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, I should know this. But then going back to the fact
Sorry,
that
Georgia flip too. Sorry, I
Yeah,
forgot. Me.
flip. And then
Yeah.
so people are honestly tired. At the end of the day, people want what's good for their family. They want to have peace of mind. They want to have opportunities. Okay? And then with the Democrats, I don't want to say the enablers, but then at the end of the day, don't I'm and then I hope this comes out right. I just want to be able to say that, you know, sometimes don't just keep people in situation that doesn't allow them to go further than the current situation. So don't just give people bread today and then now they don't know how to get a whole meal tomorrow. And people are so dependent on some social services. It's okay to be on social services. We all got to start somewhere. Okay? But then Democrats are known for promoting all those services, which technically is not helpful. It is not helpful. And I know that from experience because I work with people who said, well, I think this I was talking to this person, and I believe she was in some type of social services where they help her with her home. And then she literally went to this person, to the manager, and said, well, don't give me hours this week because I want to be able to, qualify for my section 8. There's nothing wrong with needing help in the part of your life. But then to stay on that situation, now you're just affecting how much money you can make. America is supposed to be about getting opportunities and then go as far as you can.
But
But
hold
then
on a
with
second, René. But what does it have to do with Democrat, though? I mean, I don't think that's a Democrat or a Republican thing.
that's what they're pushing. That's their agendas. Most of the
But you know,
agenda is social services, just taxing people, taxing and social services.
but
Okay.
okay. I mean, I think it is. There's a lot into that, and I think we do not have enough time to get into it.
Exactly. I believe
But
that. I believe that. But at the end of the day, though, at
Hmm?
the end of the day, we should give people opportunities. People don't want to hand out. I do not want to hand out. I want to be able to have a hand up. I want to have
But
opportunities
René,
to make
that's
my
you.
own life.
René, that's you. You have to realize.
So that should be the nation, though.
No, but
That
that's
should be
hold
for
on a second, René. You know, you talking about a whole different. It's a different how can I say, like, class system, if you want to. That's you. That's your background. The same way, like, some people, that's the only thing that they know is be on, on use social services, is being on section 8. They okay with that. They have hold on a second. They have to have the desire to get out of that. Hold on a
they
second.
can provide those desire. They can have those services too. They can have services that help people to
But
change their life,
but
but not just to give
that's,
them
Renee, that's
bread.
what I'm trying to tell you. Is like, yes, there are services, but the people itself want to have the services, and they have to ask it. But hold on, I wanted to answer to Christine, and that what she was right saying, like, oh no, you said it, like, people are tired. However, I think, like, again, I don't think it's a Democrat or a Republican. I think people have just been really tired. But the thing, a lot of people were not saying anything. People were just compliance. And also the thing is, like, what we need to realize is, like, look who beside Obama and beside Clinton, all the presidents were old as hell. Okay, they were all white men. What do they know what's going on right now in society? Like, I mean, I'm saying, like, they were old white men that had some type of money that would not necessarily.
I'm glad you're saying that right now.
The people, you know what I'm saying, that necessarily, like, be like, oh yes, okay, well, I think this is what the people want, or that's what they need. No, they were pretty much going from what they understand, what society need, or what the United States need. So, and also, if you look, like, if we're going back to social, the social, how you call this program, if you want to, a lot of them would build or built for brown and black people to just put people there, just like,
To keep them there. That's exactly what I'm saying. To keep them there.
But in the same time, it's like, if was to keep in there, but at the same time, like, if you want to get out, you can also, but and it also is like, you have to also be able to say, I want to get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if, I'm saying, like, this is not a great situation that I'm in, or my community to, again, let me, figure out how could I put my, be better. And I take the example of, her last name is Bush. She was involved with Flint, and I think now she got elected just this past election. She got elected. I don't remember which state, because she saw how things were going. She was like, "No, this is it. I need to do something." So that's what I'm saying. Like, if people don't talk and they don't want to do anything, then
but if they don't know better, they're just being appeased. Okay, they're just being appeased. So there's no financial education in school. They can start right there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like, we saying that, like, they could start right there. But if nobody says something, I'm sorry, white people or whoever's in power ain't gonna do shit. They're not gonna do anything.
So what about if whoever is in power can increase the income limit, so therefore people, they're willing to work and then still afford some of those social services, because the income limit is so low where it says you need to be poor for me to help you.
Yes.
But again, but this is, which is, I understand what you're saying, but
I think we just went away.
People have to talk about
a whole nother conversation, y'all. I know I started it, but then I had to give my 2 cents. I had to. But then I see all of your points, but it's either, and I read, and a young lady wrote that too. She was like, it's either you like way poor and then you get everything, or you way rich and you can afford everything. But the middle class, it's we really poor.
Yes.
Because they're saying that you making too much money to afford this, but really, all you can do is pay rent.
Exactly.
If childcare is like $1,000 a month and you making $8,000 every 2 weeks, it's like you pay for childcare and then you pay for your home. Now there's no food, no, you cannot pay any bills, and then so you go on credit cards. And then so you're supplementing this with credit cards, and then the bank is making money. And obviously you're not making a lot of money, so your interest rate is so high, then it becomes a cycle of poverty. Okay, so with that being said, then people will say, well, if I work hard, to be at a job to try to stay on my own 2 feet, but then they're making it so hard, make education affordable, make daycare affordable. You know what I'm saying? And so then people are like, I cannot afford this, so I might as well stay poor because I'm gonna get all of this. I know there was a whole $15 movement. I promise you all, $15 per hour is not gonna do jack for nobody, because $15 per hour, you're not gonna be able to get any of the social services that you have right now. And I promise you, it's not gonna be enough for you to take care of your family. This is
basically they need to increase the income limit to more to higher number, because if they increase it, let's say for family, the income limit.
And where is the money coming from? The social services? Exactly.
It's like you telling me for
household. Now more people are gonna be on social services, and then taxes is gonna go up because this money is have to be collected from somewhere. Daphnée, I'm sorry, that was not your question, but we're all over the place right now, and it's 9:20. We should end it right there. I'm sorry, y'all. I appreciate this conversation, but
I think I just wanted to say a little bit. I do, and then I think for sure we can end it. But we did go off on a tangent, but we're talking about. I think oftentimes people associate Democrats with social services, right? They want to use government to pay for everything, and then the Republicans are about capitalism, lift yourself by the bootstraps, business, etc. Right? And it so there's a lot of things in that, right? So social services, the thing is, and you guys had really good points about middle class and trying to make it. And I see with social services, the system is not set up for you to be successful, right?
Exactly.
If it was,
Exactly.
if you were making money a little, even if it wasn't a lot, but you just needed help with your rent, and you were, you paid you paid some, and you got a little bit of assistance on groceries, but if you reach a certain income level, maybe you got to go off, but the threshold is so low that
Exactly.
the people in the middle are the ones that are truly suffering. I get that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I push back a little bit on that idea of go ahead and make it on your own, because the system is not set up that way,
That's
right?
what we need to change.
Right,
We
and
need
that's
to make it set up that way.
right, and that's what I'm saying, because it's like it's not equal playing field. Just think about these small business owners. And these, I give you an example, all these small business owners who of all walks of life, when it came down to getting this money from the government, from the PPEs and stuff, so that for not PPEs, sorry, the PPE loan or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
The loan.
I forget what it's called. Who got it? The rich. The rich people.
Exactly.
The rich people who had accountants.
Who's in power?
Thank you. Let me be quiet.
So I mean, it wasn't the little person who got it, right? It was the filthy rich. It was their accountants who had already filled out their loans, who had attorneys on retainer. The person who owns the little coffee shop on the corner or the hair salon doesn't have an accountant and a attorney on retainer that already has a relationship with their bank, that already has the application filled out. When these people went to go do it, the money was gone. So that's not fair. That's not fair at all. So
That's why we have to step up our money game. Okay? There has to be level playing field, and we have to, by all means necessary, whether they provide us information at school or not, we have to be able to go out and educate ourselves so we can play. Okay? And then also like all the people who are funding campaigns, those are people who have money. So then if we increase our wealth, and now we can campaign for people who we know is gonna support legislations, who's gonna support programs, who's gonna be able to help our community, then we have to have the money to go in and back them up. This is all money talk.
Okay, but
All the government is money talk.
yeah, it is money talk, but at the same time, let's be real. People are not gonna get to that level. So there's other way for them to support people to get elected. You could volunteer with them. You could try to help them and raise money. You could try to have them connect with organization or companies. But let's be real, like a lot of people are not gonna get the wealth that they could to back up people that could help them. It's not gonna happen.
I'm not saying it's today, but that should be the goal. That should be the idea.
Listen,
Hope, Fadia, hope.
no, but we have to be realistic too. Like, let's be realistic. Like, what I'm saying, like, getting wealth. Like, we have election coming up in 2, 3, and 4 years. They're not gonna get wealth back.
Okay, so if we're being realistic, okay, let's really be realistic.
It's gonna happen for 20 to 30. Some people, it's not gonna happen for 20 years. Like, depending what they're trying to do and what they're doing. Like, if you're starting your company right now, the profit is gonna take a minute.
Those existing companies, and I don't wanna just say athletes and people who are rich. I think there's more money in our community than we think. We have so much money in our community. It's just how we allocate our money. Okay, that's the problem. I think there's more money than we give our community credit for. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, no. I'm
there's so much money that we have. We just don't know how to. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm thinking. I'm not saying like there's no money or to allocate. But I think the people that have the money in the community, they know what they want to do with that money. And they know what they
But
want to do.
sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they
I
don't know.
if you have some money, if you have some money and you have like money that keep coming in, and you you have money, you invest, you know what you're doing with your money.
Okay, so as a former banker, I can tell you.
Okay, so give a number to that money. Give a number. Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about like a few thousand? Or are you talking?
No, no, I'm talking about the millions. I'm talking about the millions, like more multi-millionaires.
You tell me somebody that's a millionaire don't know what they're going to do, what to do with the money.
How many times people who win the lottery then they become broke the next week?
No,
or even artists.
But no, that's money. That's not the type of money.
Okay, well, and I can
win the
personally,
lottery.
I'm telling you,
That's not money I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that gain money.
People who has like millions of dollars, they couldn't manage it. And then a lot of times they don't surround themselves with people who can actually give them advice how to make that money work for them. And then so once one person in a family then start to accumulate wealth, then it's all about how fast can we show it off, how fast can we spend it, how fast can we wear it.
That's people that don't have education.
Fadia, can I say something? Fadia? So we had a couple who came to our bank and basically they're like, "Oh, we got $50,000 in a checking account. What should I do with it?" Say, you got $50,000 in a checking account with no interest. You don't even know what to do with it. So there's a lot of people with money and they don't know, because my sister and I, we both work in the bank industry and I see that every day. Why would you put $50,000 in a checking account, no interest? You can open a CD, you can open an investment, you can even buy life insurance with it. There's so many ways where you can get almost
Christine,
half of that money.
You think that's the only account that they have? You think you're the only bank they're dealing with? Like, no,
but money is money. I want to have more money.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's 9:30.
In the bank account, the only bank that they're dealing with. Because I don't have $50,000 in the bank, and I deal with 3 different banks, so I know that's not the only bank they're dealing with.
Why not earn interest on that $50,000?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you don't know this. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yes, you see that in your in your bank.
Yeah.
Say like you work for Bank of America. They might have an account with Chase and they might have CDs and all those stuff.
Still the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? They might have with was it another mutual? They might invest with them and everything. Mm-hmm. They might have that $50 right now. They $50,000. They're like, hold on, we have an extra $50,000. What should we do with it? So what I'm saying is like, yes, you see that, but you don't know the backstory of it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you to everyone who's been with us in live in conversation. I'm sorry, it's 9:30. I'm gonna cut it off right there. The good thing about this platform, it is our platform, so we're able to go a little over, but that's not the idea. It's for 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It was a great conversation. I know a lot of was said, but then I know last week we talked about kind of like the same thing, the Haitian revolution, and how there's so much of the Haitian story than most people know. And then next week Wednesday is actually one of the Haitian holiday is Bataille de Vertière. And then so Daphnée, did you want to go ahead and do a segment about that, maybe like a little Haitian history 101 next week, if that's okay with you? Or
just a little background. We all are of Haitian descent, so this is especially of interest to us. So yeah, sure.
Ladies, are you guys gonna be joining us next week for the Haitian history?
I do my research.
I mean, I did my research already. I did so many papers on Haiti.
Because I know Fadia is gonna come with the whole book.
I wrote the book. Well, This has been a great conversation. This is René Antoine live in conversation with attorney Daphnée Camilien, and we have two of our guests with us last week and this week and next week as well, ladies. Yes? Oh no, they're not sure yet. Anyway, but in Daphnée and I, we can always do that history. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining. If it was valuable to you, kindly share and let us know your thoughts. Have a good evening. René Antoine signing out. Bye, everybody.